Today is October 30th, 2024. Okay. Today, um, I went out to Warren to my doctor's. On the way back, I stopped at Ravenna at the gas station. Had my friend with me. So, I am going through like everything that I can think of real quick. Okay? Including how the Tuscarora sheriff's told on the chief of police that they're sending out those illegal emails. That they said he's sending out no one's to believe her, no one's to help her. It's illegal. It's Department of Justice 1729. It's an accessory to the crimes. Okay? And that he, before 22, he was telling people I was seen out with all these men living a wild lifestyle. And I laughed. I said that I didn't start dating until after 2022. The cartel told everyone I belonged to them. And besides flight dates and going out with friends, I didn't have a real relationship. I had them harassing me and hurting me and, afraid someone would get killed, okay? And I said, I told that Tuscarora sheriff that. And he said, well, who cares if you did go out with a lot of people and you were living a little bit of a wild lifestyle? It's nobody's business. You don't write up crap like that on people. And you can never tell anybody not to believe anybody and not to help them. It's illegal. It's Department of Justice 1729. It's aiding and abetting crimes. Okay? And you're an accessory to them. Go to jail. Dated a cop once. He told me that too. If they find you doing that, you go to jail. And charged with that. Okay? I go into the gas station. Use the bathroom. Some of the guys from the Kiss, I didn't see them, but I could hear their voices. I know their voices because they were always around me. Said, what do you mean they told people not to believe her, not to help her? That's not what they were supposed to say. They were supposed to say, well, we get all these people. No one's to say a word to her. What do you mean they changed it? We all know she wasn't dating till after 22. What do you mean she was living a wild lifestyle? But she was out with us. I know. I had cops and feds around me. And trust me, they weren't being inappropriate. They were chasing off stalkers and following cartel people. They were a little busy. Okay? Now, October 28th, 2024, Walmart 62. My friend and I are walking around. Some guy mentions where I did that video. If I would have ever, being a child, been in a restaurant and said, weird with yourself, or whatever, and laughed at a rape victim that a drug dealer is running a scam on, or any adult talked to him like that, my dad would have hit me across the face. He would have grabbed me by my arm, marched me out to the car, rolled down the window so I had air, and told me to sit there and think of my bad behavior, and he would have went back in and finished his breakfast. Then when he got out to the car, when we left, he would scream at me all the way till I got home, and then I would have been grounded. Okay? People didn't tolerate their children bullying people or harassing them years ago. Alright? This guy said, I heard what she said in that video. If I would have said that to somebody as an adult, as a child, my dad would have beat me. Yeah. That's the way parents used to act. The guy said, I heard that she wants 5 minutes alone with me. Because I wrote it up on Facebook. My handler, because we're my friend from the prosecutor's office. He said, Kieran, as being an informant, you probably do have a handler out there somewhere. And it's like, boy, I promise I won't hurt him. About like 5 minutes alone, there'll be a lot of screaming, swearing, stuttering, and crying, and I'm going to tell him off. He left me there. He fed me he left me there. That agent fed me to the cartel. And he left me there. And as a handler, where Agent John said he'd make sure no man would touch me, that was that handler's job. Now, in 2020, I went up to the courthouse, sat outside the courthouse, called my sister on purpose, went through a lot of stuff, went in to make a report, and I wanted to talk to Judge Timothy Ludick, but he was busy, went to leave, and that officer wouldn't let me leave. Older white guy with gray hair, mustache, at the door, dandruff. It made me talk to Abigail. And that's when a guy showed up with a tiny little file. Well, when I got done talking to my sister, there's a bar across the street where a lot of the guys that were at the case ate lunch. Two had walked out before I went in the courthouse, looked at me, looked at each other, and said, where's that idiot over the house? And the guy shows up for the FBI case. I'm here for carrying around the house. That's how I'm talking to Abigail. Okay? He showed up last year in a line that said that file says has a number for them to call. She needs help, but nobody's to tell her what's going on. Okay? So when I was in the gas station today, those guys said, where on earth did they get? No one was to believe her or help her. No one was to say a word to her while we got these people that did this. And where did they get? She was out living a wild lifestyle. We all know she didn't start dating till 22. The only people we've seen around her was us. Exactly. Friends, light dates of like first dinners. That's about as far as they got. If they got a peck a night or a friend hug, they were lucky. Okay. And the officers weren't interested in me at all. They were walking around me, seeing if some cartel person would show up, chasing off stalkers, or almost football tackled me when they tried to attack me. They're a little busy. And they weren't inappropriate, and they weren't making any moves on me. So, handler, where on October 28th, 2024, you said, I heard she wants 5 minutes alone with me. I was told no one was to care what happened to her. Where'd you get that one from? It wasn't from where the chief of Portage County Police was sending out emails of no one was to believe me or help me, and I was some kind of hoochie mama, right? And like the Tuscarora sheriff said, he threw it in the trash because it was illegal what he wrote up. And like a lot of people said, even the police down here don't find it funny when they found out how crooked that police department is up there, because they've got caught writing up baking soda as meth or crack or something like that. Falsely arrested 2 guys, falsely imprisoned them. Secretary of State's now involved. They're getting sued. That county does know there's going to be, when it goes to federal court, there's going to be like millions of dollars of restitution for that. Or when it's Mantua Police Department, the lady officer. Now that place is what, 10-15 miles away from the sheriff's office. She has her own chief of police. Lady officer leaves her child with a police dispatcher, which is another lady officer. Huh? Another lady officer. And they falsely charged her with leaving her job with a child molester. She got suspended. It's on Google. And they were both cleared, of course, because they're police officers. And now she's suing. That's going to be millions of dollars. So what did they have against that police officer? Old girlfriend? Ex-wife? Have something on them? Or where they try to interfere in the presidential election and threaten people if they voted for Harris that they would drop all the legal immigrants off on their doors. And it was on Google that over 60 people did an FBI hotline tip. See, everybody ought to be doing that with this. It's a cartel doing it. So, who told you, Handler, that nobody was to believe me or help me? Well, the police department, was it? Because as an FBI handler, are you dumb as a box of rocks? People were laughing because I wrote that on Facebook. We all heard what Karen called her handler. You're the one they called an idiot. You weren't the one that they were talking in 19 was taking a payoff to let me be raped by all those men in human traffic, were you? Because in 22, I went in the Belden FBI office. There's two heavy-set ladies out in the hallway talking about the case. I walk in, the two young agents that remind me of my son, Joshy. I thought they were a police officer. They're FBI agents. They were talking about the case walking through the office. Go sit down with two agents. One lady's hair, her hair was rolled dirty. She needs a ponytail. And then the other guy, and they're trying to act stupid. And it's like, hey, I wanted to say, hey, everybody else in the office is talking about it. And then when they walk off, she mumbles, I can hear it really good. Boy, am I going to take care of them. They were supposed to take care of her for us. I know. Well, later that day, I had to go to work. And our next door neighbor, lady from the office, shows up. They told me to follow her. The one where they said told her that Pete ordered everything to be drugged, photoshopped, and made up on me. Oh, and one of the ladies that actually had to sell the login. Yeah. I was 22. So, Hammer, if you're on that FBI agent's shit list, because what's your sworn duty? To protect the informants that are entrusted to you. Not care what happens to them, because that's not what you get paid for. You let one of your informants get hurt, who's going to answer for it? Because the rule was we were to make sure no man touched me. And we all know Agent John don't have authority to ask anybody to stay quiet. Grant's friend is a FBI agent, criminal attorney, prosecutor's office, and police. First Amendment. It takes a judge to place a gag order on you. And then in my case, Agent John, from the time I called the hotline, took him 4 days to talk to me. And in that 4 days, he went around talking to all the churches. Told them all I called the FBI hotline. Witnessed by the police telling on me. And then on a recorded line several times admitted he met with that family in his office and all those church people. And he knew they were conspiring to commit murder. See, that's where I think Agent John is a little bit better of a poker player. And all you people where the police said that he is playing these people to get the drug dealers. That's what he told them. Because you got to think, I had him nailed. I called the FBI hotline. I have 4 attempts on my life. I actually had 2 witnesses of 2, and then 2 Perry police reports. I have 3 witnesses in the mall that a church member said it, told them it was them. Okay? They're nailed. I have witnesses of them impersonating me, costing me a job. And they drugged me up the next day so bad I can't wake up all the way. Well, my phone's ringing. And it's the agent trying to call me back from the hotline. And they had to do that so they could think of what to do. And those idiots show up at FBI office. Think about this. And my ex-husband confessed to a federal officer, and I'm pretty sure he taped him, that he had hired a drug dealer on his own, Pete, part of the drug cartel, to cyberstalk his wife. It's a federal crime. Hiring it, and he had hired him to drug me, to get me to say stuff. And was having me beaten, raped, and human trafficked to a federal cop. That they were taping even children using the bathroom, obtaining and dispensing kiddie porn. To a federal cop. And he was doing it in conspiracy with his church to have me killed because he had a girlfriend and because of a minister making up a lie of faking you were sick 15 years ago when it was a medication error. And the cult leader coming in and saying that he ordered it. They confessed all this to a federal cop. I bet he almost fell out of his chair. Now you think of the scenario of where they had a drug cartel guy impersonate a doctor selling information. No doctor would put his name on that crazy shit. And that he was helping out with that. It's life in federal. So that agent, where they said he's playing him, act like he's going along with him, tell the church he's going to help him. Bullies me on the phone. Make sure he says that he met with all of them, acts like a crazy call person. That he told on me, laughs at me for the rapist. I don't know. I thought it was a dirty well water killing me, just showering in it. How not funny is it for a woman to be home alone, take a drink out of a 2-liter Diet Coke she just poured, in the room go dizzy and blah, wake up with bruises, throwing up, heart racing, dizzy, and a severe personal infection, or wake up with marks that look like injection marks and the same. And her husband is having cartels drug her up and tell her to say stuff, and is having other men beat and rape her under drugs. They said in 18 that why is her husband actually doing all this to her? He's trying to prove to someone he don't want her anymore. See, that's what they said last December of 23 in Alliance on a Sunday night, or January of 24. He was trying to prove to his crazy drug addict girlfriend, by having her drug hotel, that he hired on his own to do this to me. He could have just left me. What would have been the difference? He paid a little more alimony. That's it. You guys wouldn't have been messing with me. I would have been remarried by now. You wouldn't have had to pay alimony. You're stupid. One of the cartel guys said, you better make sure she's engaged and ready to get married to the divorces of it. Why? Because he didn't want Dave to pay alimony. It's the only thing that stops. Hmm? Now, think about that. On a recorded line, that agent admitted he met with the church people, the bad guys, that he knew they were conspiracy to commit murder and attempt to murder because of a minister's lie to cover up his son's adultery. He acted like he was going along with it. Laos had a drugged up rape victim. Laughs at me about how the rapist or drug dealer is running a scam on me and I don't know. Made me beg for my life, then list me informant with money and immunity. It's a very demonic way to get him, but very effective. Think about this. You want somebody inside the cartel. You act like you're going along with it. You list the victim and informant. Legally bug their phone, tap it, so they can tape through it even if they're not on it. You guys ever watch FBI on TV where they tap people's phone and they can video record? FBI informant. Cool shit. Car spot. Every home I've lived in is spot. Have a cop documenting everything with a court order. Then feed that victim back to the cartel in the middle of it while they laugh in the victim's face how they're getting away with it and who they work for. And then you have their confessions under police surveillance. Like they said in Hartville, I went through Dairy Queen on Monday. Guys inside were talking so loud it was echoing through the drive-thru. We told that agent we found out how much she lived through. It's not even funny. She's only an informant. He said he was playing these people. They act like they can make money off this. They can never get money off this. Of course not. It's racketeering and attempted murder. Human trafficking. Racketeering is drugs, rape, threats, and attempted extortion. Like investigators have said, it is racketeering what they did. Sextortion of photoshopping and washing. Racketeering of date rape, drug confessions. Human trafficking me, let other men rape me under drugs. Where the FBI, where I got this other home health care job about 2 years ago, my boss said, why are you fine on an FBI background check and Dave is considered potentially dangerous? What do you mean potentially? A man confessed to a federal agent he hired a hitman on his own to drug, beat, and rape his wife. That makes him extremely dangerous. He was selling child pornography of his grandchildren using the bathroom on the internet. His whole family using the bathroom. He was human trafficking me under drugs to other men. He was conspiring with his church in attempts on my life. What do you mean potentially dangerous? He tried to have me killed, and he confessed to a federal cop. Then that federal police officer and the police taped him, threatening his son's family's life. And then they had a list of people within a month. And then there was attempts on my son's family's life, playing with their vehicles. That makes him extremely dangerous. And he may be part of 2 murders if you pull right before Christmas of 18. They did something horrible that night. I'll tell you that. It couldn't have just been a cheap stunt of putting laser lights in, delivering lights out back, and just shooting off guns. Because they burned everything outside that duplex in January, as big as an ambulance. Those men didn't come back, and one guy's face was completely purple and a gash in the other. Okay? And Dave screamed, God forgive me, for about a month, screaming and crying for God to forgive him. And they said they killed 2 out. It's the cartel. They killed all kinds of people here. Kidnapped and sold a lot of women and children. It's a cartel. But if you think of January 8th, 24, 9:10 in the morning, my phone's bugged. Altman Hospital Billing Department called me. She tried to say my credit card won't work. I just used it at McDonald's. I pull over and I'm reading the information back to her. In the background is a man. Total confession. I called and I ordered those men to come here. I paid for them to show up here. I paid for them to do everything to her. I paid for all those people to do all those things to her, and I paid people to follow around, say and do things to her. I know she only carried a gun before because Dave was controlling. And rambles on. They said that was Pete. He's telling everybody he's the agent over my case, and it's that old drug dealer, like people said back in July. They have that old drug dealer's confession. What are they waiting for? He may have been outside Walmart this last week. Walmart 62 again. Because I've been in there several times this last week. I walked out with my friend, and he yells out, did they make sure Karen paid for everything? Of course I paid for everything. See, that was one of the scams they were pulling before the case. Even now, where they have been drugging the hell out of me, I lost 18 pounds. My clothes are so big, I'm like holding on to them while we're walking around the store. And I'm trying to grab some extra skirts and some sweaters because it's getting cold. Okay? Dave had walked off, and while I was looking at the lady's clothing, and I'm looking for him, I see him up at the register. So I walk up and I hand him my stuff. I said, here, pay for it. Okay? We go to leave. 2 guys said, can we say she tried to steal him? Oh, I was pissed. I went back down to Walmart the next day. Told them off. Or I called them. It was one of the 2. It's none of our employees. They know better than ever say that to when our customers, they get in a lot of trouble. It was just some crazy customer saying that to you. See, that was one of their scams they were pulling. I walked up to a register and handed them to the lady to ring up. That's paying for them, dumbasses. See what I mean? Like they said, it's that old man running around lying. They lied to people. Now, they're non-admissible drug cartel tapes where the police already know they photoshopped the shower scene to make me look weird. What a satanic stunt. People in Akron called it a mean teenage stunt. It's satanic. Drugging me with roofies, stabbing me with date rape drugs in my sleep, telling me to say stuff, photoshopping, all that crap. That makes me sick. Where my doctor said your ex-husband's a vile, sick animal for letting those people do this to you. Ungodly. So are these people that did it to me. They already know I'm framed in cartel tapes done by the drug cartel. They told people they took their non-admissible drug cartel tapes, entered them in court. Nobody told me. They found me guilty. Nobody told me. That I had charges and I didn't know. That I wouldn't be allowed a fair court trial, bail, and bond, but no legal representative, no right to an attorney, no right to remain quiet, no right to privacy. And they're so stupid they don't think I have a freedom of speech either, and that only a judge can take it away. Like they said in Akron, no man can tell you that you can't say anything but a judge. That's what a criminal attorney said. Please, prosecutor's office. He's only blaming that comes stupid because he's already confessed he talked to everyone. Okay? I was in Bob Evans. Some idiot went to say something on the other side of the divider. So I made sure that I rambled on and how my ex-husband was letting that cartel do this to me so he could show off for his 18-year-old drug cartel girlfriend. Some girls, like they already said, it wasn't funny. Not to say anything. He didn't let them do all this to her to show off for some 18-year-old drug addict. You hired the drug cartel. See, Middle Eastern men showed up under police surveillance in I say December 18th. McDonald's on 62, 300-pound men, long curly black hair. For we all work for the king from Texas. We all as men. Dave hired us. He's a drug lord. You will find the Kingsman with Dave under police surveillance December 18 and January 19. You will also catch the one they call Michelle and Lauren riding with the big truck guys from Florida that said they were drug dealers, human trafficking people. She's a human trafficker too. Where it was the two drug lords riding over this area. I told you where to find out who the Russian was. And the other one that came from Texas, if you Google him, he's a U.S. military Iraqi translator, went into the dark web malware fentanyl king. That's where all the amnesia drugs come from. He's a fentanyl dealer. That's where he got all it. He's big enough in the cartel that he can order the cartel. Local drug dealers can't do that. That he's rich enough to pay him. And then run the scam. Oh, some of the guys from the case, they don't think it's funny that we found out who she's dating. Nobody finds it funny anymore. My boyfriend's older. There's a lot of issues with him. There's some concerns because in 18 they described him for Karen's Law as an old guy. He fell in love with her watching it. He has this big farm. He's a real sweet older guy. And he's too shy to meet him. Talked about him till 21. Even mentioned him last year about being an older. Okay? Ask everybody to take care of him. They described the guy I'm dating now. Even investigators said we all know it's not funny. The guy she's dating, they described him years ago. I know it's not. And what is the interest of the cartel? When me and him would get in an argument, they would show up and yell at me. Why would they care? And if you pull the surveillance of October, November 21 in Belden Village, there's a guy that looks really close to him in the wall. Okay? They have a voice, they called it a voice alternator. Now you can get those on Google Play. They said it was Pete outside my clients in North Canton that was impersonating my boyfriend, saying that I fell in love with her watching her and sounded just like him but a little bit off. About died, da-da-da, when she said even the police had told her ex-husband they knew she was innocent and innocent before. And that was clear years ago. Okay? And I found out my wife was dying 4 years ago, and I moved her back here 2 years ago so I could meet her. So we moved in. And what's going on? They said it was Pete with the voice alternator. In person making fun of me. Well, what they do is they copy your voice and then they talk to it so it sounds like you. They copied Agent John's voice. They did tell Pookie, right? Because if the cops didn't tell him they copied his voice, they really don't trust you. Because they recorded them 18, 19 for all Karen's will. Karen's only to hear our voice when she's out. We're all to sound like we'll put it through the voice alternator. And they speak through the Bluetooth and it would echo all the same ways. Pookie does know they copied his voice, right? Password. They supposed to have a Karen app they talked about. You know, I put it up on Facebook. I have found this thing of a cat dancing. A real cat. They had photoshopped it. I showed it to my boyfriend. I said, you know where they said they put a shower scene in the other room? They can Photoshop everything. Watch this cat stand up on his back paws and dance. He said, you know, I didn't think about it. They could Photoshop a washing scene real easy. Exactly. Or they laughed at everybody. And I said, it's like, and then the date rape drugs, the amnesia drugs, they did it to my neighbor Mike. And he didn't know how he got home. He didn't know how he got money in his pocket. Didn't know what was in the box with mustard. Didn't know how he changed his shoes. Then tried to tell me it was a New York cop and thought I was pretty. Like, you really need to sleep that off. They reviewed a Marshall's kid twice. She moved out of the area. They could drink in the room with Dizzy and Black. Just like me. They're sleepwalking. My coworker dog got raped, left in a puppy. Said she was talking active. I don't even remember meeting him. You're sleepwalking. Even Valium in high doses will cause amnesia for 10 minutes. That was one of the drugs they were using, because up at Ohio Catholic Bank, the manager was complaining when I had a drug test. I went upstairs, got a drug test back. It was so full of drugs, it would have knocked out a horse, and she's out walking around. They said she had Valium and a bunch of other drugs in her system. They're fake sodium pentothal reports. They said she's helping the FBI with a case and no one's to say a word to her. FBI informant. Like, the police told me you're an FBI informant. Don't ever forget. I don't care if they deny you. You're still an FBI informant. There's a court order from a judge for the police to protect me. That's where the Carroll County Sheriff's. And that Karen's will. The one we're all supposed to keep an eye on if we see her. They had us listen to a little bit of this today before she came down. There was a group of Freemasons wrapped up with the human traffickers caught under police surveillance with a court order. Oh boy, I can't wait to look her up. Boy, are they going to get their eyes full. They also have them the first month of the case walking in the front of the case, front of Walmart 62 in front of the cops and vets. Will found a different way of making money off the case. He's going to sell the login for $25 a pop. Years ago, okay, Dave's, his mother, Juanita, died when he was 7, okay? His grandparents, Charles A. Hall Sr. and Marjorie Hall, adopted him. He called them mom and dad. They raised him as their own, okay? Marjorie eventually died, and Charles got remarried. They lived in Canton. Okay? They didn't approve of the second wife. Okay? Well, he got dementia, and she got really bad health issues, and she couldn't take care of him all the time. So she needed those boys to help with their dad. She had to leave him with him. Okay? Well, Charles had broke his hip when he fell. Then she took care of him as long as she could, even at home in a hospital bed, had nurses come in, but then she became too ill. Okay? He had to be put in a nursing home. The nursing home said he can't stay here. We have to have money to pay for him to be in here. And he had a house paid off in Canton that was his and Marjorie's. Found out at least Jerry was involved, if not Jerry and Chuck. He said, it's documented in by a social worker that worked at the nursing home, that he told them that they were given a medicine. And he told us he remembered being hit, but he didn't remember signing anything. They made him sign over the deed of his house. He pulled the deed of the house, where when he died not too long after that, the courts had put it in all 3 boys' names until they had them just buy it outright. Okay? And then it was split 3 ways. And they only paid $10,000, $11,000 on it. It was stupid. But Wanda had his second wife had to get an attorney and threatened Jerry to give that house back. The nursing home was threatening to put Charles on the street and threatened to put him in jail for drugging his dad and making him do something. When we went down there to get a copy of the deed to look it up, to make sure he did it, they were questioning us why it was getting switched so many times. Just stood there like, oh my God. He did. And there is, yeah. That these families drugged people up and made them do stuff before. Charles died 90 or 91. 1990 or 1991. He died at Doctor's Hospital. He lived, yeah. Look it up, you can actually see, at the nursing home where he was at, an attorney that made him give it back. And the statement he gave to a social worker, Wanda handed it to us where it said that they gave him stuff that was supposed to be medicine. It's not pretty what they did to his dad. Some lady found out a week ago Tuesday, Bob Evans said some guy had, she was talking to some lady after she got done puking in the bathroom. I didn't use the bathroom. Found out my one client died. And that lady's in there puking. She got done puking really hard. And I'm still in the stall. She can't see me. And she said, some guy had asked me why we'd even involve ourselves with this. Found out the guy that was doing it to her for was a child molester and a drug dealer. And the law was never interested in a drugged up victim that some drug dealer was running a scam on. You tell everyone, no one says a word to her. You know, at the Oklahoma apartment on December 9th, 21, they told them all the tapes before were them and not me. It's just a bunch of men doing crimes down here. Later on, he told me he thought the COVID virus caused a great mental crisis in this area. People were finding things funny that weren't. And he thought it damaged people's brains. They have been helping the cartel get away with murder here. Laughing. These people admitted right off the bat they had drugged me and told me to say lies. Since that old man from the case showed up at Walmart 62 in front of the cops and feds, admitted he had drugged me up and told me he worked for Dave. And where I woke up with a bruise, he had stabbed me with a date rape drug, tried to lie at sodium pentothal reports, and told me to say lies. And that they admitted they were doing it before and laughing in my face in front of police and feds, and that they photoshopped all their lies. That they were drug dealers, they were human traffickers doing it. Ignorance at this point is not excusable. Or they set up in Harvard, you're playing everyone. Agent John, I like my money. Because like the FBI agent out of state Grant talked to, just like the criminal attorney, the prosecutor's office, the police departments. You don't have enough authority to ask someone to stay quiet. Then on top of it, you were seen by the police telling on me. Hundreds of people. My ex told my son that he talked to you up at that church when I walked off. The night before I talked to you, where I told you someone told on me. And where you confessed on a recorded line that you met with the Vegas and the church people several times and makes fun of me for the rapist, Pete, the drug dealer, the child molester, to run a drug scam on me. Dave hired on his own hitman to have his wife armed. You didn't arrest him, laughing how he was framing me and I didn't know. Made me beg for my life, then listened to the informant, and then threatened me if I told. And you've already confessed you told everybody the big, giant loophole of what that agent did. And like that FBI agent said out of state to Grant, he said all that on a recorded line, they got him. I like my money. I almost died to save my children. Dave tried to threaten to kill them all. Tried to have me killed. We got over 1,000 human traffickers. With the marshals involved, saved over 300 children. Got over 1,000 drug cartel human traffickers off the street that were connected to these people. It was demonic what you did. Telling on a rape victim that had almost been murdered. Act like a crazy call person. Bullies a drugged up rape victim. List him an informant, piece him back to the cartel with a legally bugged phone, car, home, so you can get him. It's effective. Very radical thing to do, but effective. I like my money. A letter of thank you would be really nice at this point. New name, new social, new car. Not bugged by craziness. Life of peace. For I'll take care of everything in the end. And like the prosecutor's office, Karen, these people actually try to kill you. You can never get out of protective custody your whole life. They can always wait and try to kill you again. They waited this time. Get the money for working the case and only for working the case. And that agent can't ask anybody to stay quiet. That's what an FBI agent told Grant. Criminal attorney lives out this area. And you already told. Confessed. I'm pretty sure the game's over. It was on the news up in Akron, the despicable act of some law enforcement feeding women and children back to drug dealers so they can get the drug dealers. It should never happen, and it's happening. It's an effective, sick way to get them, but very effective. Like I said, I always either dirty as hell or the best poker player out there. I want to help my children. I earned it 100 times full. Dave and the churches, information on them, my ass. They mention all this. The place that watched me, she's amazing. She has no training, and she got us all this information on all these people. She's living through all this. They're the ones that'll tell you that I'm innocent of everything, and I almost died to save my children. The ones that it's ridiculous for any child to be afraid of Karen. She's nothing but good and love. Those men, Officer John. Air hug. He's little, but he's wiry. Stood up to two big guys. What those kids get caught stating, they made everything up. Just like the police told people in May this year, in Myers, North Main, and Northampton. It's ridiculous for anyone to ever insult her. She almost died to save children. They always knew their backup plan were the stalking tapes if she didn't die. Where they knew they had drugged her and told her to say it before. And they knew they photoshopped a shower scene to make her look weird. And it was a backup plan if she didn't die, trying to extort money or things out of her. They always knew. See, the police are stupid. Hi, guys. That was some guys that worked my case. Up there in Nevada. We told them that nobody was to say anything to her while we got these guys. We never told people to not say, not to believe her, not to help her. Where they had that one? January 19, if you pulled the surveillance in Walmart 62, they said they paid them all off the cocktail. They paid people off up there. Alright. I'm gonna play this.